Okay, so I thought what I would do today is do a little video on how you can use AI tools, especially in Adobe. It's an Adobe Cloud suite that you can buy. Actually, it's a monthly subscription that you can buy, and it comes with a lot of good media tools and a lot of good AI tools. So one of the interesting apps that I have that I use all the time is PDF. And the reason it's Adobe Acrobat it's a PDF reader tool, but the newer version of this app really has a lot of good aspects to it. Like, for instance, this is my Puritan Storm Rising book. And if I wanted to, I could ask for a summary. Now, this particular book is over 400 pages long, so it has a little bit difficulty parsing things that are over 300 pages. But if I clicked on this, it would probably go for a few minutes. It might give me part of a summary and then pause out. But the new version of Adobe Acrobat is really good. I wanted to go to a website that has free PDFs, and the particular book that I wanted to look at is called Political Polytheism by Gary North, because I have a friend who really loves this book. And I know what the book is about. I'm not really that crazy about it myself, but I want to know what the book says so I can know what I agree with and disagree with. So this is called, this is from GaryNorth.com, Political Polytheism, and you can go to the website, and here is the document. Now, when I download the document to my desktop or to my download folder, I'll go to my desktop here. I can open it then well, that was pretty fast. I can open it inside of Adobe Acrobat. Okay. Okay, so basically, yeah, generative summary currently supports files with a maximum of 600 pages. Please try a smaller file. This does not have 600 pages, and I think that it even pauses out. Let me open this. Go to the desktop and political polytheism. All right, so I am going to ask AI assistant. Oh, see, here we go. How in the world is this 600 pages? That's what I want to know. Let me see this. I thought it was about 400 pages, but let me check it out. I can go to, and this is the new version, and you know, I'm not completely. Here we go. This is the pages right here. Oh yeah, yeah. So this is like, you know, I want to know this book, but all right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut. What did I say? 600 pages. I'm going to go up to page 599, and we're gonna stop there. Let me look at where this is. How much further does this book go? Excuse me, 399. I need to go. I can do it in two parts. Is what I can do. So this is chapter 7. Okay, so I'm going to cut everything from 397 on through the end. So what I can do here is go to Edit, delete pages, and 397 to 797. Okay. Yes, I do. Okay, and then I'm going to save this as part 1, just so I don't lose my file here. Desktop. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is ask AI assistant, summarize this book. Let's get started. What does that do? Recognize text, so on. All right, so it looks like a pretty good, it has good OCR, so on. I could OCR it again just to but I'll just ask it. Okay, so I will ask. Okay, so summarize this book in as much detail as possible. You don't have to use correct punctuation or capitalization, and you don't have to use manners. You don't have to say please. So here we go. It's just a machine. So I used to write like, please do this for me. It's AI is kind of deceptive here. Okay. So this document is a critique. Oh, here we go. This document is a critique of religious pluralism and a defense of biblical covenantalism in the context of American politics and society. How can I help you with this document? I want to understand it. I want to analyze it. Let's do understand first. And let's go to summarize this book in as much detail possible. See what we got here. Might take a little bit because it's a long thing, but I want to show you while we're doing that. These are the, when you go to, let's see, where is it? Adobe Distiller, Adobe Acrobat, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe InDesign. Those are the ones that I use. I also have the Microsoft Office suite, the new one, which is from my job. And there is actually Adobe Cloud. If you go to Adobe Cloud, you can download more. Okay, here we go. All right, so the book, see if I can. The book Political Polytheism, The Myth of Pluralism by Gary North critiques political pluralism and its incompatibility with biblical Christianity. It argues for the application of biblical law in all areas of life, including civil government, and challenges the secular foundations of the U.S. Constitution. And you've got highlights where you can find this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. So you got biblical covenantalism, critique of the halfway covenantalism, apostate covenantalism, all the way down to, it doesn't go that far though. It's interesting. Anyway, you can get like a really brief idea of what this is about. I think you could probably get more out of this book by just reading the headings. Because Gary North, I'm going to save this though, and I'm going to put it into a Microsoft Word document. And there we go. I'm going to do part 2 now. Okay, so I'm going to open part 2, and we're going to, so it gave me a very limited, like according to this, and these aren't always correct, by the way, like it'll give you, this only goes up to page, oh wait a minute, this is page 238, so that's pretty good. So that's about what we wanted. It's a pretty good overview, but it's not that many paragraphs. I said in as much detail as possible. But if you want a little 5-paragraph essay on what the book is about, or a 6-paragraph summary, there it is right there. So that's not the conclusion of the book, obviously, because we get into part 2, which is going to be, what did we say? 299, is that it? Or 396, that's where we got to. Okay, so page 396. So we want to do 397 on through page 696. All right, so let's open the previous file. And we're going to delete let's go to 397 just to see if that's correct. If I'm remembering correctly here. Okay, so we're going to go from page, we're going to delete everything prior to 397. So 1 through 396. And then we've still got a 290 page document. So I'm going to delete the appendices. I know it's going to be 301 to 401, so the last 100 pages. Okay. Let's see what this is here. I'm going to delete 301 onward just because we'll miss that last page there. But this looks like a little summary. And then you get into the appendices after that, I think. But we'll see what happens. All right, so 301 to the end, we're going to delete. So I told him I would debate this book with him. And it's like, oh, I have to read a 700-page book. Okay. All right, so this is 300 pages. All right, so what I'm going to do, ask AI Assistant, get summaries, explanations, key highlights, and more. Analyze, dig deeper, use AI as a thought partner, and make informed decisions. Brainstorm, enhance your work. I'll let you know a little secret later, but I used AI quite a bit to write. I actually used not ChatGPT, but the Chinese one, DeepSeek, to write my book Puritan Storm Rising, because I found myself saying I want to write on this section. I have to do a lot of research, and I would ask AI a question, and what would happen would be, I would get lots of stuff, like really long. DeepSeek is really incredible. I think more so than this, but I don't know. It doesn't. You can't just like give it a file this size. I don't think you can anyway. You'd have to paste it all in. It's all like paste into the window. And okay, so I'm gonna ask again. So anyway, I get these long answers, and I didn't like do it word for word. I mean, some places I did, but what I did was I went in and I looked at the research materials. I made sure it was correct, because I actually found some places where it made stuff up, but it kind of summarized. There was a section I did on the Founding Fathers, and I got direct quotes. They weren't in quotations, they were in italics and written as though the Founding Fathers actually said this. And I went and looked for it, and I couldn't find it anywhere. In other places, I could find it. So it's like you have to be really careful with AI, because sometimes it does give you, it's like garbage in, garbage out. You ask a question, and it's going to give you the answer to the question that you're looking for, so you have to be careful. All right, so I'm going to say summarize. And it's going to give me something very similar to what I got before. And then what I can do is I can paste it into my Microsoft Word. Then I'm going to read that, and then I'm going to skim the book. So this is a great tool for studying. If you're taking a course or something like that, and you want to, read a long book, and your eyes are glazing over, read the book, but skim it. Here we go. See, we don't get the bullet points like we did before in the other one. That's interesting. All right. So the theological relativism of, okay. Okay, could you summarize the book making each chapter and section a point. And I am going to spell this right. This is what you have to do with AI. You have to play around with it and ask the right questions to get the answers that you want. Okay? And this is taking longer because so Gary North, one thing I disagree with Gary North is that he takes the religious establishment clause of the Bill of Rights and the this is interesting too. So he included, this is the entire book, and okay, part 4, what do you mean part 1? Is there a part 1? Appendix A, I don't know, see, sometimes it gives you really goofy stuff. Appendix 6, okay. All right, so I'll put this in, I'm gonna take both of these in here. And this will be my introduction. So I'm going to do these separately. Biblical principles. What's the difference between biblical principles and biblical law, I wonder? Okay, so I'm going to use this as the introduction. And then this is not from part 1, or is it? So why is it saying part 1, the theological? It's making its own part 1, the relativism of faith. That's on page 669. This is on page, see, this is kind of goofy the way this is. So let me go back to renewed covenant or broken covenant. So it's making its own parts here rather than chapters. I said chapters and sections, but it's and appendices, and it actually does have appendices in here, or does it? Let me see. Keep saying appendix A, appendix B. Okay, it does start with the appendices. Okay, so we do have appendix A and B. Okay, so what we need to do, I think, still, I'm going to paste this in now. Let me see. Is do the last few appendices too, because I want to get the whole book here. All right. And I'm going to not call that. This is the overview. Okay. So let's go back to the original political polytheism. Let's save this as O2. And I'm going to go back to part 1. And we're going to do the last 100 pages. So 698 to 797, or 69, wherever we left off. I believe the last one, let's see. Looks like a really good book. I mean, it's incredibly well researched. The guy was brilliant. I just don't agree with, sometimes people use a, okay, well, I'm going to do everything from the conclusion, which is 647. So everything prior to 647. So 1 through 646. I'm going to delete that. Yes, I do. Okay, so this is useful too. It also shows you that even though you have a book that's larger than it can parse, what you can still do is you can delete pages and do it in sections. I did that with my book. I had to do close reading questions and essay questions at the end, and I was like, I could write these on my own, but let's ask AI. And I got some really good, I did one part of it, and I tested it on my students too. And I got some really good answers. So I decided, like, well, I'm going to do that for the whole book. And I decided, well, I'll include this as an appendix as a group of as an appendix in the book, and a group of questions. So, oops, I got to ask a question here, don't I? Okay. So it will also know what the name of the book is too, because it will see political polytheism, I'm guessing. Okay. These are really good research thesis questions right here. What's the central research question? What policy implications? What's the historical context? That type of thing. So. And the reason why I said providing points for each appendix is I don't want just a general summary. I want it to organize. Certainly. Okay, good. That's what I want, is I want each appendix with points. So what I find about Gary North's worldview in general is that it's conspiratorial, whereas other Reconstructionists like Gary DeMar and Rushdoony especially are providential. Like, they really believe that God established America with a special covenant and purpose, that type of thing. And Gary North is more like, he uses, I was going to say this earlier, I got sidetracked there. He uses a logical fallacy called post hoc ergo propter hoc, which came before is a direct cause of a thing that came after. And it would be like, the rooster crowed in the morning, therefore the sun came up. Well, no, just because the rooster crowed before the sun comes up and crows every morning before the sun comes up, the rooster doesn't cause the sun to come up. And it's the same way. Yes, there were Masons, there were deists, there were Enlightenment rationalists who wrote the Constitution, and also people who were influenced by that, who were actually Christians, but they were influenced by Enlightenment. So that's not good. But every evil thing in America today is not due to that. There were other influences that came later. And that's what I would say. It was like, yes, there were certain seeds of destruction that were sown into the liberal experiment, but there are also good foundations too. And mainly I think the good foundations outweigh the bad ones. And what happened was, it took about, I would say, 80 years for the bad seed to grow and start to bear fruit. And I would say that took place like after the Civil War and so on. Some people think that America was great up until the 1950s. I disagree with that. I think that there was a lot of liberalism and socialism and anti-Christian thought beginning in the 1800s, early 1800s actually, and it gradually took hold. And I've done a lot of writing on that. But I don't think that like everything went bad in 1787 when they did the Constitution. I think that's an overly simplistic. But I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to at least skim read the book. I probably don't have a chance to sit down and go over it word for word for word. And then we're going to have a discussion with Andy Howder, who's a good guy. And we agree on like 90% of things just on this particular issue. We have a disagreement. We both agree that the Enlightenment and liberalism has ruined America, but just when did it happen? Like, what were the root causes? That's where we disagree. Root causes are very important to understand any type of a disagreement or conflict. Okay, so that's the video, and let me see if I can get out of this.